is the season of rejuvenation and the perfect time to revitalize your home with replacement windows from Renewal by Andersen. Our spring savings event is only once a year. Call the number below now to schedule your free window diagnosis and take advantage of this incredible limited time offer. Now is the time to say goodbye to high maintenance and inefficiencies and say hello to our beautiful replacement windows. Our windows are custom built in America, made with exclusive composite Fibrex material, are low maintenance, and won't warp or bow like vinyl does. And when combined with the best people in the industry and a superior process, you get Renewal by Andersen's signature service. A unique start-to-finish process skillfully guided by our industry experts so you can feel confident in your decisions and more comfortable in your home. Our spring savings event won't last long. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Call now before it expires. Renewal by Andersen. The better way to a better window.
Live on NBC 12, this is News Watch 12 at 5.
Good evening and welcome to News Watch 12 at 5. I'm Jessica Jukic. When you call 911, help will soon be on the way, due in large part to the dispatchers on the other end. Every year, the second week in April is set aside to thank the 911 dispatchers who work 12-hour days to protect their communities. In 2022, Oneida County dispatchers answered just over 33,000 calls. Jake Simpkins is a captain and oversees Oneida County's dispatch center. He says the work they do goes unnoticed, but it's vital for first responders.
They're a really vital part of our operations here at the Sheriff's Office. They're not they work behind walls, so they're not as seen as some of our other emergency services, but they're a very critical part of the Oneida County Sheriff's Office.
Dispatchers gather information from an average of 100 callers a day and decide on the appropriate response. Scott Meyer is one of 15 employees in the Oneida County Dispatch Center, and he says workers rely on each other for support.
We just try and back each other up. There's other resources out there. There's an 800 hotline that law enforcement can call, and we're part of that group. But I think more of the human side, dispatcher to dispatcher, we know what we deal with on a daily basis.
Workers don't get to hear thank you very often because they are behind a phone and a keyboard. That's why they have a board dedicated to giving each other positive messages. Conrad, it's a beautiful day outside. It feels like summer.
Yes, it's actually so wonderful out there. I was driving down, windows all rolled down. AC was blasting earlier before that. It was so nice out there.
It was.
It was, yes. Lots of sunshine. Jessica, we are actually at our record high temperature right now at 79 degrees. So are we going to break that? It's going to be hard to say, but I think we will. We just need that 1 degree to break that record. It is wonderful out there, but it is still recovery from winter. That's why all these lakes are still frozen. Be careful. That is another danger that we have. It might be nice to go outside, enjoy the outdoors, but be careful on that ice. We do have lots of clear skies, sunshine all the way from Canada down south into southern Wisconsin. Barely any clouds in the area, but wow, take a look at these temperatures. I feel like we're in middle of July, talking about 70s and 80s down the board. Wausau, mid 80s outside. Wapaka close to 90 degrees right now. Incredible stuff, but there's that danger walking on the ice, and also fire weather warnings have been posted. It is very windy, even windier down by Wausau into Mosinee area, Green Bay as well. Tonight, though, it's going to continue to be breezy. Temperatures well above average, hovering in those upper 40s. Jessica?
Thank you, Conrad. Democrat Tammy Baldwin has announced that she's seeking her third term as senator of the state of Wisconsin. Baldwin announced today in a statement that she intends to continue fighting for the working class and families struggling with inflation, as well as opposing Wisconsin's abortion ban. She was first elected to the Senate in 2012, handing former Republican Governor Tommy Thompson's first defeat in a statewide race.
Wisconsinites need somebody who's on their side fighting for them, lowering prices, creating good-paying jobs, and helping people upskill to fill jobs that are open right now.
Baldwin won her 2012 race by nearly 6% and defeated a Republican state senator for re-election in 2018 by 11%. Baldwin will be seeking her third term in presidential election year when turnout is likely to be high. So far, no Republicans have announced that they're running for Baldwin's seat. State regulators say Tyco Fire Products is failing to comply with a PFAS investigation near farm fields. On Monday, the Wisconsin DNR issued its third notice of noncompliance to the company. State regulators say Tyco's Fire Training Center in Marinette previously discharged firefighting foam that contained PFAS into the city's sewer system in 2017 and 2018. In February, Tyco sent a letter to the DNR claiming the agency allowed spreading biosolids containing PFAS in Marinette and Oconto counties. In 2020, Tyco Fire Products and Johnson Controls International began sampling private wells near 61 farm fields. The study found 30 of the 191 wells had PFAS levels exceeding the state's recommended groundwater standard. Tyco has spent millions to help the city of Marinette dispose of biosolids and update its sewer lines. The DNR, along with the National Weather Service, has issued a red flag fire warning today for several southern counties. All counties south of west of Marathon County have an extreme danger of wildfires. As a result, the DNR will continue to prohibit burning in those counties with all DNR-issued burning permits. The public should be especially careful with any activities that could potentially lead to a wildland fire. Campfires, ashes from fireplaces, outdoor grills, smoking, chainsaws, off-road vehicles, or other small engines have the potential to throw a spark, ignite a fire, and spread quickly. The DNR is reminding people to use extreme caution until the fire danger dissipates. Today, Governor Tony Evers declared a state of emergency in response to those elevated wildfire risks throughout the state. Evers signed an executive order today which will give the state's DNR the ability to have all available resources ready to be quickly dispatched to keep fires small and minimize damage. The executive order will also assist the state in mobilizing the National Guard's Black Hawk helicopters to the areas of the state in need of aerial fire suppression during the spring fire season. As the weather warms up and we start to see some ground showing, people may feel inclined to prune their oak trees. It's a time of year when the DNR really encourages people not to do that. Newswatch 12's Matt Weaver joins us with more. Matt?
Well, Jessica, spring cleaning may be common this time of year, but for oak trees, the DNR wants people to either not prune them or paint them if they must prune them. This avoids infecting the trees without knowing it.
If it's got oak wilt fungal spores on its body, it only takes one beetle to bring that to the tree.
The Wisconsin DNR lists mid-April through mid-July as the high-risk period for a transmission of a particular fungal disease.
They notice some maybe damage on their oaks from the winter, and they want to prune them. Either hold off until mid-July or paint that wound immediately. So if you're going to prune a branch, make sure and prune a nice clean cut, and then immediately paint the wound to seal it up so the beetles can't bring the fungus into the tree.
And it doesn't take much to make a tree susceptible to oak wilt.
It doesn't take a huge branch, you know, it could be a smaller branch, it could be a scuff on the bark. Maybe someone runs into it with the lawnmower or backs into it with the boat as they're getting it out. That could be enough to break the bark and create a wound.
The beetles that spread oak wilt may be small, but their damage can be much larger, even spreading to surrounding trees.
They prune or wound their oak trees. Those wounds can attract the beetles that can bring in the fungus. And if the tree is in the red oak group, which are the trees the oaks that have points on their leaves, and a beetle brings the fungus in the spring, that tree will be dead by the end of the year.
The native beetles carry the fungus on their bodies.
They just scrape off the fungal spores on those fresh wounds. They're coming to feed on the sap. The fungus then grows into the tree and grows throughout the tree and chokes off the water system of the tree and kills it completely.
While the disease is more common in counties south of Marathon, the DNR wants Northwoods residents to be on the lookout before it becomes an issue here.
We have some control options, but it costs more to control a pocket than it does to prevent it in the first place by not pruning or wounding at this time of year.
In the Northwoods, Matt Weaver, Newswatch 12.
Great tips. Thank you, Matt. The EPA is looking to update car emission standards. Coming up after the break, we'll have a look at how it could encourage people to buy electric. That's After Weather with Conrad right here on Newswatch 12.
Join us this weekend in Tomahawk for the 38th annual WJJQ Home Show with Health Expo on Saturday from 9 till 4, Sunday 10 till 3 at the Tomahawk School Complex. Admission is free and sponsored by area businesses and Northwoods 92.5 WJJQ.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Explorer or Edge and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $500 FlexBuy cash.
Oh, boy, would you look at that field goal he kicked right there?
That looks fantastic. Boy, it looks like you need to stop at Tomahawk Furniture and Guns.
Furniture and guns?
Yeah, they've got everything you need at great prices. Recliners, sofas, mattresses.
And guns?
3 travel trailers, 3 e-scooters, $24,000 in cash. The summer you've been waiting for is coming with Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg's Campers Delight giveaway. Saturday, April 15th kicks off the Progressive Travel Trailer giveaway drawings with a share of $6,000 in cash, a new KZ Sportsman Classic 160 QB from King's Camper, a new e-scooter, and $2,000 in camp and cash. Come see it at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg. Campers Delight. It's going to be a great summer outdoors with Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg. See the Rewards Club for details.
This isn't Charmin. No wonder I don't feel as clean.
Here's Charmin Ultra Strong.
Ah, my bottom's been saved.
With its diamond weave texture, Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better with fewer sheets and less effort. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Want luxury hair repair that doesn't cost $50? Pantene's Pro Vitamin Formula repairs hair, as well as the leading luxury bonding treatment for softness and resilience without the price tag. If you know it's Pantene.
Join us this weekend in Tomahawk for the 38th annual WJJQ Home Show with Health Expo on Saturday from 9 till 4, Sunday 10 till 3 at the Tomahawk School Complex. Admission is free and sponsored by area businesses and Northwoods 92.5 WJJQ.
And welcome back, folks. It's middle of April, not middle of July, not yet, but with the temperatures, it definitely feels like it. Take a look at this. 79 degrees outside. Pretty breezy conditions, though, but still feels much, much warmer than what we should be this time of year. We just had snow last week, and we're talking about record heat. Mid-80s in Wausau right now. Light breeze once again. Feels like temperature. Don't have to worry about that. We're in the mid-80s. Incredible stuff. Our record high was set in 1930 at 79 degrees. We are officially tied for a record high temperature for today. We might break that. We still have potentially another 30 minutes to rise those temperatures up just a slight bit. But take a look at all this weather. Upper 80s, close to 90 degrees in Minneapolis. And look down south. Florida is only in the 70s, so Florida is putting on their sweaters. They are chilly than what they should be for this time of year, and we are in the 80s, so a whole 180 of temperatures. We're going to continue to stick around with these very warm temperatures the next couple of days. Tomorrow, another wonderful day. Friday, and then look what happens Saturday. We cool down, but the big story is Sunday into Monday. We really cool off by Sunday into the Monday time frame. And guess what? More chances of rain and snow will be back in the forecast Sunday into the day on Monday. So a whole different switch in seasons is coming once again. But don't worry, warmer temperatures will be back once again. We have a whole line of fire weather warning advisories out, warnings out all across the area here in town. No warnings, no advisories, but just down south by Wausau and south of that, fire weather warnings have been posted for today, and then watches have been posted for tomorrow with more chances of fire weather by tomorrow. And of course, some flooding up north into Duluth and by the UP, where all that snow is continuing to melt at a very, very rapid pace. It is also very, very windy. Winds down the board, down by Mosinee, even Stevens Point into Green Bay are pretty strong right now, gusting close to 30 miles per hour in some spots. With those warmer temperatures, lots of dry weather, it's really causing lots of fire issues, so be careful if you want to start up any bonfires tonight or tomorrow. That's going to be the main issues. Winds even by tomorrow into Friday, all the way down into central to southern Wisconsin, will be on the gusty end. And then finally into Friday, once again, winds start to really ramp up, and then by the weekend, things really start to wind down, and the winds will go calm. Like I said, though, lots of sunshine out there right now, all over the country. Just down south by New Orleans, I'd say there's a little bit of rain into Texas, closer to the Atlanta area, but overall, though, no strong low pressure systems are in the area. But guess what happens, folks? Sunday, another chance of rain rolls on in. Saturday into Sunday, and then Sunday evening into Monday, colder air starts to move in, and then that rain, the green, starts to transition actually into some snow on the back end. So we're looking at that rain transitioning into snow Sunday evening, and then Sunday night into Monday, more chances of snow will be in the area. And of course, on the back end, we're talking about maybe some lake effect snow once again, with the wind starting to blow more out of the north and west, and that's going to cause some more chances of snow. Tonight, though, no snow, none of that, folks. Temperatures in those upper 40s, mostly clear skies. So go outside, watch the stars if you'd like. Tonight is the night. Light breeze once again out of the southwest. Tomorrow, a wonderful day. Maybe breaking a record once again. Temperatures close to 80 degrees. Mostly sunny skies. Our 7-day outlook brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress does show thunderstorms back by Saturday, and then we actually transition into rain and snow Sunday into Monday. Jessica?
Thank you, Conrad. Wisconsin has regained almost all the population it lost since 2020, despite the fact that deaths are outnumbering births in the state. According to the U.S. Census count, between April 1st, 2020 and July 1st, 2021, Wisconsin lost 13,624 people, a drop of about 0.23%. But by July 1st, 2022, Wisconsin had regained most of that loss, with around 5.9 million residents. While people are moving into Wisconsin, much of the growth has been uneven. Milwaukee County continues to shrink, losing around 21,000 people in the period, while Dane County's population is surging, with around 6,500 people moving into the area. Some rural areas also saw growth, including Vilas County, which gained 716 residents since spring of 2020. Inflation levels continue to fall through March. That's according to the Consumer Price Index that was released Wednesday morning. It's the 9th month in a row inflation has fallen. Prices are still high, even though economists were expecting worse. They rose 0.1% from February, and in the last 12 months, ending in March, prices rose 5%. Economists were predicting an annual rise of 5.2%. The car culture in America is evolving, and a new proposed rule from the EPA could move the country along faster. Strict new tailpipe standards, if approved, will see most new passenger cars go electric within the next decade. Gloria Pazmino has the latest.
The Biden administration is betting big on electric.
We're driving towards a clean energy future.
On Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency proposed new car emission standards that could require electric vehicles to account for up to 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. by 2032.
We're starting to see all of the auto industry move in this direction.
Transportation is the biggest source of greenhouse pollution in the U.S., with light-duty vehicles accounting for 58% of those emissions. EPA Administrator Michael Regan says the goal is not only to tackle the climate crisis, but to bolster the economy long-term.
This is a really exciting proposal that codifies the president's vision for an electric future that wins the day in manufacturing and jobs as well.
The rules are intended to push the auto industry toward electrification and increase supply.
We see that consumers are really responsive to EVs when they get their hands on them.
Still, not everyone is ready to buy in. 41% of Americans polled by Gallup last month said they would not buy an electric vehicle. But the White House hopes tax incentives like a credit up to $7,500 for new EV purchases will help drive Americans to electrify.
We're going to save consumers money. This is a huge opportunity for everyone in this country.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
What's the perfect way to spend a summer afternoon at your lake home? On a pier made by Pier of Denora. We're making a splash with time-saving piers because you deserve more ways to play and enjoy summer days. Made in St. Germain, come and visit us.
Save 11% on all your outdoor storage needs right now at Menards. The Suncast 8x10 resin outdoor storage shed is built with steel reinforced double wall construction, metal hinges, and lockable handles. All Suncast storage sheds are 11% off. Mastercraft makes great doors inside and out, building the highest quality doors in a wide selection of styles. Get a prime steel exterior door system for just $349.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Sure is nice to have my 3 older kids home to visit. Oh yeah, I love coming home. I miss having soft water.
That's why I bring my laundry home on the weekends.
It's so much better for my hair too, but you wouldn't know anything about that, Corey.
Well, that's why my hair looks so nice and moisturized.
So what do you know about moisturized hair?
Well, having 2 older sisters and a brother who only showers a couple times a week helps.
Well, actually, 72 years of treating water in Wisconsin is our family story. You kids are pretty well versed in water.
So let us make your family's water better today.
Our experience in the RVA has been wonderful. The teachers are extremely supportive, and Simon really seems to enjoy it and is making friends, and he's more socially active now than he was in a traditional school.
Something I want other kids to know is that even though it seems like you're not going to make friends, you actually are. I like how the RVA provides an environment that more suited to my needs.
Guess who's making a splash? Pure Denord, of course. We make installing your dock easy enough for just one person, and you don't even have to get wet. With our Piers, there's less maintenance, no rust, and no fuss, because we're factory direct. Made in St. Germain, come and visit us.
It's not often you drive down a northern Michigan road surrounded by farm fields and find dozens of cars and even more people staring through binoculars and spotting scopes out into those fields. That was the scene this week near Kingsley. As Mark Scholett explains, they're all in search of a pink-footed goose.
Tuesday morning, Schneider Road. Usually the most exciting thing to happen is garbage pickup, but not today.
Jumped in the car, and as soon as we could get here to see it, we did.
They parked their cars. Some climbed on top of them to get a glimpse.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if any of you seen it.
From around the Midwest, they flocked here because it's what they do.
First time I've ever seen it. So, yes, very, very, very important for me.
Lining the road, staring out into the stubble of last year's corn to catch something that's never been here before.
First time you've ever seen it in your life, and here it is today in a farm field near Kingsley, Michigan. It's crazy.
Out there, I'm told by people with better eyesight and a lot more knowledge, is a pink-footed goose.
The home for the pink-footed goose is typically Iceland, Greenland, parts of northern Europe. It does show up once in a while on the eastern seaboard in the maritime provinces, but Michigan, first time ever.
A first time ever in Michigan. And for these folks, seeing a bird that never comes here is a really big deal.
Well, actually, I will admit, we drove from Michigan to Massachusetts to see one a number of years ago.
But this pink-footed goose was practically in Mike's backyard, so he had to drive to see it. He wasn't alone.
Well, we came from Midland, and it's about a 2-hour drive.
And this traffic may just be the tip of the iceberg.
Typically, you'd see more. But yeah, this is norm for a bird of this stature.
A bird out there, far from home, and far from blending in.
A lot of Canada geese and one pink-footed goose. It's a stranger in the crowd.
A stranger that has actually drawn another crowd.
Who knows where they're going to come from? Perhaps all over the country. People might be showing up here. It's a pretty phenomenal thing.
All hoping to catch a sighting of something I couldn't see, someplace they never imagined they would. And all of that on Trash Day Tuesday here on Schneider Road.
To see a bird this rare, it's just mind-blowing.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Slumberland.
Come see the fresh changes Woodland Creek Furniture has made to its showrooms.
There's an ever-changing selection of unique furniture, much of which is made at Woodland Creek's own facility right here in northern Michigan. Did you know we build custom dining tables, vanities, beds, consoles, and more? New nature-inspired accessories are arriving daily, from lighting and lamps to wall art and rugs. You are bound to find that special accent for your home or office. See hundreds of exclusive designs available only at Woodland Creek in Minocqua.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
For your most brilliant smile, Crest has you covered.
Nice smile, Brad. Nice. Thanks.
Crest 3D White, 100% more stain removal. Crest.
We used to struggle with greasy messes. Now, you just freak, wipe, and we're done.
With Mr. Clean Freak, conquering messes is that easy. Clean Freak's mist is 3 times more powerful, and it works on contact. Clean Freak, just freak, wipe, done.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again. 833-WIS-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
Conrad, this is a heat wave compared to last week when we had 30s.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Big heat wave in the area, record high temperatures, Jessica. Look outside. Minneapolis, 88 degrees right now. But take a look at Florida. They're only in the 70s, so it's incredible.
We're beating them.
Exactly. It is much warmer here right now in Rhinelander than everywhere in Florida right now. That is incredible how big of a temperature difference there is. There's also a danger to that. We do have some fire weather warnings out here in the region. Wausau South, we're looking at very favorable conditions for fire weather today and tomorrow with some really gusty winds. Tomorrow into Friday, really, really nice temperatures, and then we cool down with more chances of snow Sunday into Monday.
Well, the Sunday looks more like what we should be getting.
Should be.